What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome to Fresh Comic Stories. Guys, this is the channel where we basically sit down and cover different kinds of comic book stories. Now, guys, today we are going to jump back over to Marvel, but we're going to continue our coverage over the Ultimate Marvel Universe. Now, guys, today we're going to pick back up once again with Ultimate Spider-Man, and we are going to cover Ultimate Spider-Man Annual number 2. Now, guys, in this storyline right here, we're going to see Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Daredevil, and also the Punisher. We're going to see a lot of characters in one single book. But guys, we have to cover this storyline because a lot of things happen in this one single book. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. Guys, let's dive into Ultimate Spider-Man Annual number 2. So this issue gives us the answer on what happened to Moon Knight. If you guys remember, in one of our previous videos, the last time we saw Moon Knight, he was stabbed by Elektra and he was put in a coma. And so we pick up with Captain DeWulf getting a call from the hospital that Moon Knight has woken up from his coma and left the building. Now we do jump over to Spider-Man fighting against the Shocker, which if you guys remember that in this universe, the Shocker is a huge joke of a villain, that no one in this universe takes him seriously. But after Spider-Man was able to defeat him, the question comes up on why does the Shocker keep getting out of jail? That is when we get to see Franklin Nelson, who's a close friend of Daredevil. Now, we have not seen him since our coverage over Ultimate Daredevil and Elektra. But you have Foggy tell Spider-Man that because Spider-Man ties the Shocker up on a pole, any lawyer is able to get him out of jail. And so Foggy tells Spider-Man, you need to take the Shocker to the police and then tell them what he did. And so then we jump over to Spider-Man taking this man to the police, but he takes Shocker to Captain DeWulf. Now, of course, when he gets there, he tells her why he brought the Shocker there, but she then tells Spider-Man that she needs to have a talk with him about something else, which this is her bringing Spider-Man back in the fold to go after another criminal. This time, it is him going after a character named Kangaroo. Now, Kangaroo in the main Marvel universe was a C-list villain. Now, there were two people who took up the mantle. The first one was Frank Oliver, and the second one was Brian Hibbs. But here in this story, we are being introduced to Frank Oliver in the Ultimate Marvel universe. Now, something else to point out is that Frank Oliver does not have the same ability as his counterpart in the main Marvel universe, which is the ability to hop to high level heights. And so here in the Ultimate Marvel universe, he's just a thug who's trying to take control of the Kingpin's territory. Now back to the story, this is Captain DeWulf being able to get information on the whereabouts of the Kangaroo and wants Spider-Man to take care of it. Now, of course, Spider-Man does agree to handle this problem, but once Spider-Man leaves to go and find the Kangaroo, we see Captain DeWulf call someone up on the phone, and of course it is the Kingpin. If you guys remember in one of our earlier videos, we found out that she is working for the Kingpin, and so she is a dirty cop. Now we do jump over to Spider-Man arriving to the location that was given to him by Captain DeWulf. But the problem comes around is that when he arrives to the place, he sees there is a fight already breaking out. And so when Spider-Man goes inside to see what in the world is going on, he sees Daredevil is there and already going after the Kangaroo. But now the question comes up, how in the world did Daredevil know about him being there? That is when we get a 2-page setting where it kind of explains why Daredevil is there by jumping back in the past, where we see that one of Kangaroo Man came to visit Matt Murdock and also Foggy Nelson to hire them to be his lawyer because he heard that Daredevil or Matt Murdock hates the Kingpin, and so why not hire him? Now Matt says yes, but the reason why he says yes is because he is planning to hunt down the Kangaroo. And since he is part of Kangaroo's payroll, he gets to know where he is, which makes it easier for Daredevil to find him. Now, when we jump back over to the present day, we see that Spider-Man trying to get back up after being kicked out of the fight by Daredevil. But when Spider-Man gets back up from that, he gets almost blasted away by another person, which that person is, of course, the Punisher, which is like, wait, why is he here for? And how did he get here? Which this is where the story tells us how the Punisher got here, because when we last saw the Punisher, he was captured by Spider-Man and was sent to jail in one of our earlier videos. But we learned that while he was in jail, since he was captured by the police, he has been put on the watch list because almost every day he has been in jail, he has killed someone. But we learned that while he was in prison, a guy who is the cousin of the Kangaroo was bragging on the fact that thanks to the Punisher making the Kingpin lose some of his territory, the Kangaroo was able to take over those parts of town. And so with the Punisher hearing that, he feels like he needs to get back out of prison and go after the Kangaroo, which Punisher does break out of prison and goes after the Kangaroo. Now we do jump back to the present day, and we see the Punisher actually trying to kill Spider-Man and Daredevil. Like, this man is trying to kill off these two and not help them to take down the Kangaroo. But while he's trying to kill them off, that is when you have Moon Knight appear from behind to fight against the Punisher. Now the story once again jumps back in the past to kind of explain why is Moon Knight there, since Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man all have a reason. The problem is that the story does not really explain very well why Moon Knight is there. Because with the flashback, we see him leave the hospital after waking up from his coma and goes to meet up with his girlfriend Marlene. Now remember, Moon Knight has a multi-personality disorder. And so with that being said, when he returns back home to his girlfriend, she even asked him if they are finally going to quit this life. His other personalities kick in to tell him basically the fight is not over, which again does not tell us what is happening. Why did he join the fight for? Now, jumping back over to the present day, we are picking up again with everyone fighting against each other, but also trying to go after the Kangaroo. And so you have Spider-Man try to stop the Punisher and Moon Knight while Daredevil tries to go after the Kangaroo, which is honestly not even a fair match. Daredevil takes care of him very easily, which is pretty sad for the Kangaroo. Now, after fighting is all done, with Spider-Man webbing up the Punisher and Moon Knight, Daredevil hands Kangaroo over to the police. Spider-Man goes down to talk to Captain DeWulf about him capturing the Punisher as well. But nobody notices the Punisher getting a hand free, which allows him to grab a gun and shoot Captain DeWulf, which of course she dies. Now this is a lesson for Spider-Man to learn, because after he watched what he thought was a friend die, you have him go over to the Punisher and start to beat him down. But then you have the Punisher tell him that Captain DeWulf was a crooked cop. She was not working in the force to bring down the Kingpin, she was working for the Kingpin, matter of fact. Daredevil jumps in to tell Spider-Man that what the Punisher is saying is true, but also Captain DeWulf was one of the many women who was sleeping with the Kingpin. Yeah, it's a little awkward. And so she was the cop that Spider-Man should have never trusted, and today he learned a valuable lesson. Now the story's still not done yet, because now we jump over to Moon Knight returning back home after all the fighting, which when he gets home, he runs into Daredevil. Daredevil is just chilling in this man's home like it's no big deal. But you then have Daredevil ask Moon Knight, why do you do this? Like, why are you a superhero? Which, of course, you have Moon Knight saying he wants to protect the innocent people, the usual superhero stuff. But that is when you have Daredevil tell Moon Knight that, listen, you and I are going to work together in the near future. And so sooner or later, you're going to get a call from me. And you better answer, because you and I need each other to bring down the Kingpin. Now guys, this is the part of video where I basically sit down and give you my thoughts on how I felt about this storyline. Now guys, this is a book that I actually never had growing up. When I was collecting Ultimate Marvel, this is the one book I missed. And so I had to get on my Comixology app to buy this book and read this book. And guys, I have to say, even though this was a fun book to read with Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Punisher, and also Moon Knight, I have to say one thing. The pacing in this story was horrible, because you jump back and forth so many times so quickly to just tell one single story in one single book. Like, it was ridiculous, guys. You go back and forth so many times to explain why everyone is here just because one man, and that man was the Kangaroo, out of all characters to use in this one single storyline. And so with that being said, guys, honestly, I felt like this story should have been in the main run, not an annual. You should have basically said, hey, we're going to do a 2 or 3 part storyline, because honestly, with this kind of pacing, it would have been better if you done this with a 2-parter or a 3-parter storyline. And then you could have basically given us a better quality story where I can sit down and say, yes, I like this. I like this book. I love the characters. Everything is great. But guys, beside that, this was a good storyline, and it's one I do recommend. Just telling you guys, the pacing is horrible in this storyline. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video, so please leave me a like down below and also subscribe for more comic book stories in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I will see you in the next comic book video. Later, guys.